2.
Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to the keepers of the house of light. My name is Uriah ben Israel, and to my right,
Obadiah ben Israel.
Shabbat Shalom, my deacon.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Here we are again.
Thank you, thank you. Let us thank the Most High Yahweh for allowing us to be here on another Shabbat.
Praise God.
And remember also, it's a new moon. So we can prolong this feast until even,
That's right.
as what Yahweh commanded us to do. But let me welcome, our viewers, by saying Shabbat Shalom. You are all welcome to this house that Yahweh has given us to minister before Him today and before His people also. Shabbat Shalom. But first, who are we? The keepers of the house of light are dedicated to spreading the righteousness, love, mercy, and forgiveness of our Father, Yahweh Elohim of hosts, by and through His Son, Yeshua, the Messiah, the Lamb of Yahweh, the King of Israel, the High Priest, and our Redeemer and Savior, whose name be blessed forever. We are here to proclaim the gospel of of Yeshua, who magnify the law of Yahweh. So let's praise Yahweh once again, man. Praise Yahweh.
Yes, sir.
I know last night our deacon here, man, he taught a beautiful class last night. And I would encourage each and every one of you to log on to the Keepers of the House of Light and watch that new moon presentation by our deacon. The title was Gross Darkness. Man, our people, man.
In a state of darkness.
It's like more in a state of darkness.
That's right.
And it seems like there's no light. There's no door. There's no hope for our people.
But we're going to deal with that today. There is hope. But we gotta go through the pain and or go through the darkness so we can appreciate the light.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because if we don't go through that darkness, we wouldn't know what is the light.
That's right.
And we know what is the light stand for.
That's right.
The truth.
Correct. We read yesterday what the definition of the truth is.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct, my dear. So we praise Yahweh once again, man, to allowing, my deacon here to present a wonderful and a great, class last night. And the new moon continue, and even though it's a Shabbat, it continue all the way until evening. So you can go ahead and celebrate it. You can drink as much wine and everything. but wait until after the class before we go ahead. Yeah, because pretty much we cannot, drink pretty much, when we're doing the work of the Most High. Because we want to know, is the work, that is, the body is doing the work and not the liquor, that is doing the work.
Correct.
Yeah, and try to stay sober. Yeah, not only sober, in your body, but also sober in the Word. Because we have to teach His Word, through thick and thin. Because, man, our people, are under that darkness.
That's right. That curse of blindness.
Yeah.
After we read the pre-reading, I got something I wanted to read.
Go ahead, man. I know we need to do the pre-class reading, but go ahead before we do the...
If you want to go ahead before?
Yeah.
All right. Just as you were talking about the state of our people, it just adds to it. This is the letter by Willie Lynch, that some dispute whether or not this is true. But we're going to look at the effects and see if it matches up to today. It says, gentlemen, I greet you here on the banks of the James River in the year of our Lord, 1712.
Stick a pin right there. What the name of the book that you...
Oh, I'm sorry, Ellis. This is the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave.
Oh, okay.
Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. Right?
Beautiful. Okay.
It's online. It says, gentlemen, I greet you here on the banks of the James River in the year of our Lord, 1712. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still the oldest methods for control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sailed on the south of the James River, namely for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish is King James, I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood as crosses for standing human bodies along its old highways in great numbers, you here are using the tree and the rope on occasion. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are not only losing valuable stock by hangings, you are having uprisings and slaves are running away. Your crops are sometimes left in the field for too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. However, I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them.
Wow.
In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple, and any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work also throughout the South. So he said we implemented this in the Caribbean, in the West Indies. I've experimented with all these different, and this is what I came up with. I tried all of these different ones, but
you know what I got so far from your reading is like it uses the attribute of the flesh.
Exactly.
And manipulating it.
That's right.
You know, exercise everything to rule over our people.
That's
So
right.
go ahead, my deacon.
That's right, man. That's exactly what it is. It says, these methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age, but it is there only because it starts with the A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size plantations, status on plantation, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on the hill, the east, the west, the north, the south, have fine hair. Like we got West Coast, the East Coast. You got beef between the North and the South. Coarse hair, or have fine hair, or tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slave versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. Sound familiar? This is what's happening now among our people. You must also have your white servants and your overseers distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love and respect and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kits are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and your children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensively for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen. It says, the editors repeat, this speech was delivered by a white slave owner, William Lynch, on the banks of the James River in 1712.
Wow, 1712. Believe it or not, my deacon, everything you just read, man, is still in effect.
See, that's where we are. That's what I meditated on when you said that about our people, the condition.
Yeah, and you just have to shake your head. And our people, they don't want heed to the word of the Most High. We're not asking them to heed to our word.
Correct.
We ask them to heed to righteousness.
Who has believed our report? As it is written. Yeah.
That's a beautiful, 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 class last night.
Praise
And that those are some beautiful words, man. And looking back, man, every single thing you just said is on our job. Anything you do is out there.
That's right.
In the park, anything.
This is a proven fact. And they still use these methods today. Divide and conquer is the oldest trick of the West.
And it's not going to stop. Come on, my people. We need to turn back to righteousness. We need to turn back to the word of the Most High. Because if we don't, oh man, we're all heading to the lake of fire. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, but we need to study the words, know this word. So, as a nation, not being fooled by anyone else. For once in a life, let yourself fool you, if you do understand what I'm saying. Okay? Because if you follow these instructions, you're not going to be fooled even by yourself. Unless you want to fool yourself. But at least you know what is righteousness. And we all have to portray righteousness. So, we praise the Most High. We know you do everything in part. But, show a little humility, humble ourselves, heed to the word. Go ahead and check it out. Don't take, our word, for gold or whatever. Go ahead and do your research and to see if what we're saying is true. Thank you, my deacon, for those words, man. Knowing that this oppression, you do not stop here. And it will not stop. Is there anything more you want to add, Deacon? Okay, so now let's segue into the pre-class reading of our Sabbath.
So this portion is the pre-class reading. We're going to begin with the Shema, which can be found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. This is what we call the Shema. It can be found in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 and 5. We know that the Hebrew word Shema or Shamar means to obey.
That's correct.
To hear and to obey. So we want to obey the Shema. Shamar, the Shema. Verse 4. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim is one Adonai, and thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah. And we know that the Mashiach added to this. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 22. He magnified the law and made it honorable.
That's correct.
So
we know these things are still in effect. The law of the Most High is still in effect.
That's right. He never did away with the law, as some believe today, or have been deceived into believing. Is what we were talking about, strong delusions.
Yep. It's a great gross darkness that is over our people.
Indeed. We're going to go to the book of Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22, and read verses 34 through 40. Matthew, chapter 22, verse 34. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him, and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. So he quoted the Shema.
That's correct.
And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Praise Yah.
Praise Yah. But you know what? sliding a little bit right there. But if you notice in verse 35 and 30, they checked the Messiah.
Correct.
So if they check the Son of God, why can't they check us too?
Of course they're going to check us.
So, we're not here to tell us that we know it all.
Correct.
But we are here, to deliver what the Spirit has given unto us. And to answer any question as best as possible pertaining to the Scripture.
That's
not by ourselves.
That's right. Praise God. Or the Spirit give utterance for us to be able to come and answer anything that's brought forward.
That's right.
Let's go to in the same Gospel of Matthew, chapter 18, and read Matthew chapter 20.
18, verse 20.
Matthew chapter 18, and we're going to read verse 20. That's my mistake. Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 18, and we're going to read verse 20. And this is the authority. This is why we're given the authority for us to do what we're doing. It says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
And it's so comforting to know that the Mashiach is in the midst. 2 or 3 are gathered in his name. Praise Yah for that.
Yeah, we're glad for that authority, that he has given us, to stand before,
Praise Yah.
Yah's, people.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, to do Yah's will.
One more place, my other. We're going to go to Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah, chapter 58, and we're going to read verses 13 and 14. This is the prophet Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 13. "If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it."
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
I mean, this, 2 verses, they say a lot, and I know it's hard, especially when, you used to do something for a long period of time. It's hard for you to break away.
Habits.
That's what we call it, habits. Hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
But, he's a merciful Elohim, and, we all have to, he will show mercy unto you. Just show that effort that you want to leave from that lifestyle into a brand new style.
That's right.
That's right. We're talking about righteousness here. Yeah. So praise Yahweh.
Praise Yah.
Again, we thank you for joining us today. And the title of today's class is Leviticus, the Ways of a Holy People, Part 6. Leviticus, the Ways of a Holy People, Part 6. You know, we have so many different parts in this Sabbath journey, but don't worry about it. We have to break it down because it entails a lot. And there's a lot we have to go through, to explain, to read, and to explain, because we have to break it down. So it would be easily, yeah, so they can absorb everything.
That's right.
Yeah, and we have to take our time with our people, because this is like, it was there before the earth was created. All these laws and everything, was there before, Yahweh created heaven and earth. Okay? But, these are the things that he reserved preserved with our forefathers to give unto a nation that he loved out of the whole entire earth. Yes.
You got a favorite?
And just like your family, you always have a favorite in it, believe it or not. Especially the last one. Yeah, especially you're gonna show them a favor because the rest are grown.
That's right.
And the younger one need more milk, so they can bring them, to catch up to the older ones, and par. But When did we stop? Leviticus.
We were at chapter 23.
23.
Yes, sir.
Woo! Leviticus chapter 23.
Yeah, we got a lot of meat to cover today.
We have a lot of meat to cover today in Leviticus 23. So, but what I would like to do today is, I think these is the, oh yes, these are the holy days of the Most High Yahweh. And we're going to touch on a few things. Let me see what are a few things. We're not going to go too much in depth in them because it's going to take a lot of time. Maybe what we'll do some other time is do it on like a new moon.
Okay.
You know, where we concentrate only on the feast days, you know, the way, you know, we arrive at these dates and everything, because we need everyone to know how to calculate all these feast days. Yeah.
So you're going to bring it forward.
Yeah, but I'm going to see what we can do today. I know our kingpin, our elder brother, Yehuda is not here today, but we pray, you know, the Most High Yahweh keep him safe and everything.
I would type something in here. He said, Yah said that we would be captives and scattered to the four corners.
Absolutely.
But Willie Lynch illustrates the method used to keep us in captivity and to allow the curses to manifest.
That's right.
You're right, like that.
That's so true.
And please chime in
Anytime. Yeah.
Please do. And our elder Hoshea said it was a great class yesterday.
Praise God for that, man. Praise God. Okay. Praise God for, you know, our sister too. Yeah.
First, Gibson. Praise God. Yeah, we got some family. Praise
Got some new family in the house.
Give thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. And, you know, any one of our classes, which we taught, you know, from this body, the keepers of the house of light, you can type in your question or make a call. And, you know, we're going to use, you know, the Bible, you know, to give you the answers that, you know, you request as best as, you know, the ability that the Spirit has given unto us. Yeah, we're not going to use our own, you know, knowing or doing, you know, to give you like an answer. We're going to search for the answer for you. So if you have any question, you know, go ahead and ask any question in your comments box that is provided by Facebook and pretty much YouTube and Twitter.
That's right.
Yeah, those are the three platforms we use, you know, to deliver the message. So Leviticus chapter 23, we're going to pick it up at Leviticus chapter 23, and we're going to see all things tied in. But before I go into Leviticus 23, I would like to read one verse in Hebrew. I think it's Hebrew chapter 10,
Okay.
verse 1. Hebrew chapter 10, verse 1.
All right. Okay, my other. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 1. For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect.
So we know that these things that we read, you know, in the law are shadow of things to come.
Shadow of things to come. Correct.
And hopefully, you know, the Spirit can allow us to, you know, give you a better way to understand the Old Testament, which we know a certain sect will tell our people not to read it. Yeah, don't read that Old Testament.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't start a book in the middle of the book.
Oh, no, man.
So.
When are we going to learn? Because there's no wonder we can get over this gross darkness. So, my deacon, if you can pick it up at Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 1.
Yes, sir. Praise that. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, But the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy convocation. You shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their season.
Verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Shabbat of rest, and holy convocation. You shall do no work therein. It is the Shabbat of Yahweh in all your dwellings.
That's right. That's right.
We're not in Israel right now.
So you have some people say, well, we don't have to keep these holy days. And the Sabbath is a holy day.
It's a holy day.
This is the first day that Yahweh blessed.
That's correct.
Right? During the creation. And this was the first thing that the nations changed.
Yeah, we know that, again, we dwell in the northern hemisphere, and we know we have the southern hemisphere also. So sometimes we have different time, different daylight and everything. So you have to calculate each of these feast days, according to what is provided, what is given to you by the Most High Yahweh.
That's right.
Yeah, so we're going to try our best to see what we can do today. Continue, my deacon. Verse 4.
Verse 4. Yes, sir. Verse 4. These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which you shall proclaim in their season. In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Passover.
Stick a pin right there.
All right.
Verse 5 said, in the 14th day of the first month at even is Yah's Passover. We know that each day beginning at even. And go ahead and touch on that in the book of Genesis.
All right.
It's in Genesis 1.
Yes, sir.
Hold the place right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because we have to establish a starting point, to know how to calculate each of these feast days.
It says,
Can't read about 14.
Verse 14. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14.
And this is the 4th day of creation.
Verse 14. And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Elohim made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Okay,
so we know each day started from even.
Yes, sir.
To the following even.
From sun up to sun.
From sundown. Yeah, from sundown to sunup. Go ahead ahead on chapter 2 and read verses 1 through 3.
Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day Elohim ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the 7th day and sanctified it. And because that in it, let me read that again. Verse 3. And Elohim blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made. That's the beginning of the Sabbath.
The beginning of the Sabbath. Thank you, my deacon. Now we realize it's a 7-day cycle.
Correct.
We have a 7-day cycle that the Most High Yahweh has created, not an 8-day cycle. Because if we go back into history, we know that the Romans, they have an 8-day cycle also.
That's right.
So we cannot be confused with that. And a lot of our brothers, they run along with it, and then they make a lot of errors in calculating the feast days.
I mean, we have brothers that say that the Sabbath is movable. So how do they come to that? What is the seventh day? I mean, I understand they say, well, I mean, and I've heard the argument that the new moon doesn't fall on the same day every month. So they say, well, the Sabbath day can't fall on the seventh day. But the Sabbath is something that's international, and that's known in any culture, that the seventh day of the week was the day of rest.
But you know what, my deacon? As we go a little bit further in the same chapter, we're going to show you where the errors. As a matter of fact, let me mention it now. There are two Shabbats that Yahweh is spoken of. We have the regular weekly Shabbat, and then we have the feast day Shabbats. So you have to know when to switch, because it's so important for every one of us who's trying to do the work of the Most High to know when to switch from the weekly. I mean, talking about calculating the feast day of Yahweh. Those are movable. Those can fall on any day of the week.
Correct.
It can fall on the first day, it can fall on the second day, it can fall on the third day, and so forth, all the way. It even can fall on the weekly Sabbath also.
Correct. So that's where the misunderstanding is.
Yes.
About.
Yes.
But if you don't have a fixed Sabbath, how would you calculate the movable Sabbaths? See, so you can't have one without the other.
No.
Yeah.
You cannot. You cannot.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, they because they are the translator when they translate the word Shabbat from Hebrew, they call it Saturday. Okay, but also the feast day, they call it the same thing. So if you're not doing your research properly,
correct,
you understand, you will messed up in calculating to get the days, where the days of each feast day falls on during the week. And that's the error they made, but we praise Yahweh for the spirit that He have given us, this body, to know how. When I say we can't make an error, but you can point it out to us and we can correct, because we are not perfect.
That's right.
Yeah, we're not trying to be perfect. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to be perfect, but we're not telling them we are perfect.
Correct.
Yeah, because once you or anyone dwell in this earthly body, I mean, come on, you're prone to sin or fall at any time.
That's why we got all this law here written.
That's correct.
Because we see what the flesh is successful to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because what He said, no man can contain the spirit.
Correct.
Come on, man.
That's right.
Come on.
Subject to this flesh.
Yeah. So as we go back, let me. I'm gonna do a little moving around the table to see. I'm not a good writer when it comes to we call it whiteboard or chalkboard or blackboard. So
Professor Moses.
I will try my very best to see what we can do. First of all, in calculating the day which the Passover, we know about the barley. You sure what? We want to go there and read it. Is it Exodus? Exodus 12? So, Exodus, okay. Exodus 12. Yeah, right. All right. So we know we're not in the land of Israel right now.
That's right.
So we have to use other things that the Most High has given us to calculate, first. And good enough, the Most High have given the Gentiles, how to calculate, a good weapon for us to use, or a good system for us to use to calculate it also, instead of the body. But, you have to put them, beside each other, let they stand the test also. So what we basically use, when the spring equinox, and you remember what date is the spring equinox of this day, of this year?
This year,
it always falls on March the 20th.
20th. That's correct, Elder.
Okay. Switch to another mic. And if you can help beam.
Yes, sir. We got
So-
another shot here.
Okay, that's good. So so what is this spring equinox? Pretty much in a simple, form is equal amount of sunlight or daylight. Let me put it that way. Equal amount of daylight and darkness at night. So it would be 12 hours
Okay.
in the day and 12 hours in the night.
Elder, turn the board just slightly over on that side. Yes, sir.
I did.
Yes, sir. That's good. Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it. Okay. That much better now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me know if I need to do any more thing. Okay, so we arrived at March the 20th. So from there, what we do, we look for the first new moon that comes after the spring equinox. Okay, I don't remember the date for that. You remember the date? But anyway, if we said the 20th, you have it up.
I'm pulling it up here.
I think it's the 31st. 31st. Yeah, I think it's the 31st. Well, it doesn't matter. We're not going to prolong wasting a lot of time in between.
I'm pulling
But-
it up here.
Okay.
It came on the, yeah, the 31st.
The 31st. Okay.
Thursday, March 31st.
Yeah, so March 31st is where, so that new moon will actually be also the closest to the spring equinox. So generally what I do, I use a system, I think it's time and dates. You have all the months and you have all the sunset, sunrise, sunset, not sunrise, but sunset of each day. Okay? So, in other words, if the sun, they said the 31st, we know that the 31st gonna begin at the 30th of March at evening. So we can put here the 30th of March at, oh man, oh, help you out here,
At even.
at evening. No, I'm just saying, it's not, and it depends, the sunset kind of differ sometimes in each equinox. We know we have the spring equinox and we also have the autumn equinox,
Correct.
where also it's equal amount of sunlight and sunday. So it's like one on this side of the hemisphere and on the other side of the hemisphere. Okay? So this is a starting point for us to give you. So this day one, the 31st, is like we can use it as the first segment as day one. So day one is gonna be the first day of the month of Abib. Okay? And that is when the barley, which is in Israel, gonna bud.
That's right.
Okay? So we know it's gonna correspond to that day one. And each year is is different. You have to look at the date and the time
The time that the sun sets.
that the sun set. Okay? That helps them. We know when we read we read in verse 5. Read verse 5 again for me, my deacon.
Yes, sir. It says, This is Leviticus chapter 23, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
In the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Passover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the 14th day. So we know that it started on, we know that it's going to be, the Passover is going to start at the 13th at even.
Correct.
Okay? So we go all the way. So we have to add like 12 days. Mm-hmm. We have to add 12 days. If you have the 30th, so this 31st will be the first. So you go all the way to the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
My board is shaking a little bit. At even.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. To the 12th. So no, we have to go all the way to the 13th.
13th.
13th. I'm sorry. So the 13th. We know that the 13th is going to put us into another month.
That's right.
Of the Gregorian system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So now we know that it's going to put us into the month of April.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the 13th at even. 13 at even.
That's the 14th day.
Mm-hmm. I need to put off April. Okay, so we know the 14th day, from which the new moon, mm-hmm. we see the first new moon after the equinox, the spring equinox. Mm-hmm. So we know the Passover is going to be between the 13th at even and the 14th at even.
Depending on what time the sun sets.
Depending on what time the sun sets. So we still use Yahweh's system.
Correct.
You understand? But we use mankind's system also, mm-hmm.
To
tabulate it correctly. And if there's any question, just type in a question.
Great explanation.
Yeah.
Praise God.
You got it? Okay.
Praise God.
Can we zoom in a little bit? We can zoom in. So if you can maybe crop it and zoom in.
Okay.
Be a little bit patient with us. Hopefully what we can do, we can
all right, there we go.
Okay. That's better.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at it, you have to count from the 31st, 13 days. 13 days, and at even, then begins the 14th day of the month of Abib. So it corresponds, each month going to correspond, with Yahweh's month. We know only one name, only a single name he gave us, and it's the month of the Abib.
Correct.
In Hebrew.
Yeah, the other ones that are in the book, they're Babylonian.
They're our Babylonian months that he gave to our people. They gave to our people to use. But we can use Yahweh's system still. We never drift away from Yahweh's system, but we continue to use it.
Praise God.
Praise God. So as the first verse we read in Hebrew, which is only Hebrew chapter 10, verse 1, mm-hmm. we know all of these things going to tie back in. So we want to know what is the Passover is all about. Mm-hmm. So could you go into the book of Hebrew?
Yes.
So we can get some more information. No, go into Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6, read verse 6 through 8.
Chapter 5, verse 6 through 8.
Mm-hmm.
We are at 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6 through 8. Verse 6. Your glorying is not good. Know you not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that you may be a new lump,
mm-hmm.
as you are unleavened. For even the Mashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
Mm-hmm.
Praise God.
Praise God. Go also to 1 Peter
Mm-hmm.
chapter 1 and read verses 16 through 20 25.
1 Peter chapter 1.
Mm-hmm. Verse 16.
25.
Yeah.
Time. All right, man. We're at 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is written, be you holy, for I am holy.
You know, Yahweh required that of all of us to be holy.
That's right.
And what make us holy?
Being separate.
Thank you. Separate yourself and do the will of the Father.
That's it. Praise Yahweh.
Go ahead now.
Yes, sir. Verse 17, my lord. And if you call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear.
Mm-hmm.
For as much as you know that you were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold, from your vain conversation, received by tradition from your fathers, but with the precious blood of the Mashiach, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you, who by him do believe in Elohim, that raised him up from the dead, and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in Elohim. Seeing you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren, see that you love one another with a pure heart fervently, being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible, by the word of Elohim, which liveth and abideth forever. For all flesh is as grass, and all the glory of man as the flower of grass. The grass withereth, and the flower thereof falleth away. But the word of Yahweh endures forever. And this is the word which by the gospel is preached unto you.
Praise Yah. Praise Yah. I don't have to say anything more about that. Yeah, the word is good enough for me, and if the word is good enough for me, the word is good enough for you too.
Yes, sir.
Let's take it back to Leviticus chapter 23 and pick it up. I think at verse 6.
Yes, sir. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 6. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahweh. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. In the first day you shall have an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. But you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. In the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Give me a second once again. We're not going to go through that. So we have the Passover. And we know that the Passover is not a Shabbat. Yeah, we know that the Passover is not a Shabbat. So it says 7 days. So we know day 1, we're going to call it day 1, which is the 14th day, is Passover. We know the following day is going to be unleavened bread. Because he said the 15th day, the 14th day, or the 15th day. Unleavened bread. So automatically, because so we have to go back where the 31st of March is the first day of the month. And in verse 6, it said the 15th day of the same month. So we're talking about the month of Abib.
Right.
Okay? Right. So we stopped the Passover the 14th, so the following day is going to be the 15th. Right. So that is pretty much easy.
That's right.
Okay? And that day, he said, do no servile work.
Work
in it.
Profit.
Yeah, work for profit. Now, you still can work, but you can work for Yahweh. Or do goodness which is in your heart. Okay. Okay, so that is the 15th day. Okay, let's pick it up at verse 9.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 9. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When you be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits, your harvest, unto the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before Yahweh, to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. And you shall offer that day, when you wave the sheaf, a he lamb without blemish of the first year, for a burnt offering unto Yahweh.
That's correct. Let's take a break one there. Let's look. Okay, so we know the unleavened bread. An unleavened bread is a movable Shabbat.
Correct.
It can fall on any day of the week. So he said the first fruit is the day after the Shabbat. That's what I was talking about.
See.
Yeah, those brothers who are movable, new moon or what did you say?
The movable Sabbath. But so they're correct about the Sabbaths are movable, but they're misunderstood about
which one.
Sabbath.
Yes,
is supposed to be a fixed one, because you would have no starting point to be able to calculate it.
That is correct. You have to have a starting point, and Yahweh already established that a starting point for us. Okay, so we know because this is the Shabbat. We know the following day is going to be first fruit.
Correct.
Okay, and it is not a Shabbat also.
Just like the Passover.
Just like the Passover.
It's good that you take the time to explain this, because some organizations, I would say it like this: it's a cult mind, and let me tell you why I say that. Because it's just like in ancient Egypt. The pharaohs knew the secret religion or the mysteries that they were worshiping, and who it is the mystery religion. They know who they were worshiping, but the common people, they didn't have a clue. They didn't know, and neither were they reluctant or were they even interested in educating the people about these things. If they told them, well, today would be a equinox, or today would be an eclipse, then if they were to declare it without the people knowing how they came about to it, they would seem wise among the people.
That's correct.
The man might say,
you want to take all the glory for themselves.
You want to disobey me? I'm going to call down judgment, knowing that there's going to be a eclipse that next day. Yeah. And so now the sky gets black. The people say, "Oh my gosh, the king is right." They fear him.
Yeah.
See, it was a control thing that
it was a control thing.
You see, so and it's still practiced today.
Of course.
By not educating the people on how to do these things for themselves. You see, that's a control factor. Envy not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. We just read what
that's correct.
See, it's the same thing being practiced among our people. Just give them a title. That's all they need.
You see, I'm kind of lumped back after your class last night, because it's the only way we're gonna allow our people to get out of that gross darkness.
That's right. Praise God.
So we as leaders out here, we need to demonstrate, we need to teach our people not to hold back and think that Yahweh has revealed or opened up to us.
That's right.
We need to teach our people.
Teach it. Praise God.
We don't need to walk in darkness anymore.
That's right.
Yeah. We need to show them how to do it, how to calculate it. Any questions?
That's right.
Send a line over.
Praise God.
Okay. So we have that first rule, because sometimes, that's what you said, sometimes they really don't know how to calculate it.
Right, and have to wait or depend.
Yeah.
Well, that's depending on the spirit that's leading whatever leader. You have to depend and say, well, I hope it's
it's correct or not.
Right, but you hope, you gotta hope.
There's a couple guidelines that the Most High Yahweh has given unto us, to help us in that narrow path, that truth, and the sun, the moon, the day, from even to even. If you walk on a chalk line between those paths, then you will get it most of the time 99% correctly. Yeah, you just use Yahweh's system. We know that the Gentiles have come up with different calendars, and we just have to work between them and us, because doing our job, we need it too.
That's right.
But outside of our job, or we approach the Creator, we have to approach the Creator with the things that is given by Him to us. Correct. No one else. And this is true. And the thing about it, you can actually physically go outside and know when it's the new moon.
There was no moon in the sky. Yesterday.
No moon in the sky. That's the new moon. Right, yeah. Waiting to, as they say, refresh, to come back new, to renew itself. Okay? So I know some folks, they use
slicker.
Yeah, they'll use that, but that's a little bit too late. Because we know within certain times too, we know that there are approximately 30 days in a month.
Correct.
But sometimes the moon can either, maybe come, the new moon can arrive maybe 29 and a half. Or, and we know mankind, the days in 1 year is what? 365 and 366 in a leap year. So we have to take all those things into consideration.
But that's not a complete circle.
That's not a complete circle.
I always say, Yahweh does everything perfect.
Yeah.
360 degrees is a complete circle.
That's correct.
A lump.
Yeah, that's correct. So we know certain things is going to overlap each year. But using Yahweh's system, you'll know how to calculate it correctly. Just stick to it. Yeah. Yahweh never, where we start, man?
We were at verse 10, No,
10.
sorry. No, we were at verse 12.
12? Okay. All right. So go ahead and pick it up at 13.
Yes, sir. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
And the meal offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto Yahweh for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, a fourth part of a hin. And you shall eat neither bread, nor parched grain, nor green ears, until the selfsame day that you have brought an offering unto your Elohim. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation in all your dwellings.
So not just in your land.
Not only in your land, but everywhere. So let's dig a little deeper and to see what this first fruit is all about. Let's turn to the book of Corinthians chapter 15 and pick it up at verse 20.
1 Corinthians?
Yeah, 1 Corinthians. I need a marker for my book. Because all these things, are shadow of things to come.
So they all point to the Mashiach.
They all point to the Mashiach.
You said chapter 15, look?
1 Corinthians chapter 15.
All right.
And pick it up at verse 20.
Okay. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 20. But now is the Mashiach risen from the dead, and become the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all died, even so in the Mashiach shall all be made alive. But every man in his own order. The Mashiach the first fruits, afterward they that are the Mashiachs at his coming. Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to Elohim, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. For he must reign till he has put all enemies under his feet.
You can stop there, my deacon.
Yes, sir.
So, Christ is the first fruit. No one else. No, how do we become the first fruit of Christ? Through baptism.
Correct.
We all have to be baptized in the name of Yeshua.
Come under that blood.
To come on his blood.
That's right.
So just the same way the Most High has raised him up, we expect also, we have that hope, that faith in us, that we're going to be raised the same way as the Messiah at the last day.
That's right. Praise Yahweh.
right, let's flip back over to the book of Leviticus. So I know, isn't in Romans where it said, you were saying all things are point to that's the end of the law?
Yeah, Mashiach is the fulfillment of the law.
Of all the law.
That's right.
So we know all the laws. When you look back, and even if you go back into the book of Leviticus, which we're not going to go back, from chapter 1, all the way to chapter 7 of the book of Leviticus, and all those offerings that we offer in the old time, we don't do that anymore because we are under new order. But now we have a better understanding of all these offering, points, fulfill all these offering. Those trespass offering, those sin offering.
He was a Passover sacrifice.
Yeah, he's a Passover sacrifice. He was everything.
The scapegoat.
He was this. He was everything.
Praise him.
Praise him. All right, let's pick it up.
All right, Edwin.
Yeah.
We're at Leviticus chapter 23, verse 15, verse 17. You shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals.
Wait, pick up 15.
15? I'm sorry.
No, I'm Leviticus 23, verse 15.
Verse 15. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 15. And you shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall you number 50 days. And you shall offer a new meal offering unto Yahweh. You shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baking with leaven. They are the first fruits unto Yahweh. And you shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish to the first year, and 1 young bullock, and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto Yahweh, with their meal offering and their drink offering, even an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto Yahweh.
Stick a pin right there, my deacon.
All right.
Verse 15. And you shall count unto you from the morrow after the Shabbat. Now, as what you were explaining to me are those movable Shabbats with the brothers. Now we can see, now it switched from a feast day to a regular weekly Shabbat. So now you have to count after that 7 Shabbats. Okay, and the 7th Shabbat, you're going to come to 49. And the next day after the 49 going to be what? The first day.
So how could you calculate that if it was a movable day?
Thank
So
you.
it's not to bash these brothers or to say, oh, no, that's not what it is. It's just how can we reason together to come to an understanding that, there are some movable Sabbaths. They're correct in stating that. But there is fixed Sabbaths, the weekly Sabbaths, and you can't get around that because you couldn't calculate the holy days without having that.
That's correct. And if you go back in history, if you want to study all the way back in history, all the way back to the Mashiach, you can study all these so-called wise historians. They have good documentation to show that even if the Shabbat was incorrect, the Messiah would not have celebrated go into the temple and read out of the Holy Book and the Shabbat.
This is a fact.
And it is a fact. You can go all the way back to Philo. You can go all the way back.
We got these history books here talking about.
Show the name of that history book,
this
man.
one here is the tribute to the Negro, right?
Yeah.
We also have some about
Hold it a little longer so that they can get a glimpse of it.
A tribute to the Negro, or for the Negro. And it speaks about slavery all throughout the Americas. And it also speaks about how the Sabbath day was observed by the slaves. They were keen on this. They observed and they said, look at these folks. They keep the Sabbath. They knew because they said, well, if it was a place that was cold, they had no fire coming out of their home.
That's correct.
They had little things that they would observe about them. They said, these people, and they knew their customs.
Yeah.
See? And they documented it. They've been watching us for thousands of years.
Of course.
We don't realize that it's been documented.
And you know, as I reflect back on the war that we lost at Masada.
Sir.
Yeah, Masada. Our people, did not, unless it's compulsory, we did not fight on the Shabbat.
That's right.
You understand? That's the way we put all our arms to the side. And because we do that, they capitalize on it. And you can do. Yeah. Yeah, they have no weapons. Especially, before the book of Matthew.
So how can you avoid the Apocrypha, which documents that history?
You're right, my deacon.
We just read about this now. Did Masada not take place?
Of course, absolutely. And it's just written outside the Bible. It's regular secular history.
It's proof, so it confirms it.
It's confirmed.
Now we know there's some debate other books inside of it, but you cannot remove the Apocrypha because it's a historical book.
Absolutely.
So you have to study to show yourself approved with it.
And we're talking about the original Apocrypha.
Original, correct.
Yeah, we're not talking about the fake one. Yeah. Because people on the whole, they try to capitalize on someone else's brilliant idea or someone else's work. That they put out. So praise God. So we know, you can go and do your studying too. There are some books, but we're gonna, not to say redo, but we're gonna be cover a wide range more about the feast days of Yahweh. We're gonna give you some more information. We're gonna give you some different books to read so you can have a better understanding about these feast days. But we just want to enlighten you a little bit on Leviticus 23 when Yahweh spoke of these feast days, because we want you to know how to do things. We don't want to keep things to ourselves. Now, Yahweh didn't gave us His body, to ourselves. He gave us His body to spread the good news. So we know again the Pentecost, the Feast of Pentecost. What do you call it again? Pentecost or
Feast of Weeks.
Or Feast of Weeks.
Yes, sir.
It always going to be fall on a Sunday, the first day. Always. It never changed. Because when you start, counting, the 49 days after the following weekly Shabbat, you're going to end up with 50. On the 50. And the 50th day going to start at even on the Shabbat. So even on the first day. So that give you some better ideas.
So you're counting 7 Sabbaths.
You're counting 7
weeks.
7 weeks.
So the next day order is going to be 50.
And the problems or the mistakes sometimes we generally make, we generally want to start counting that Shabbat, that immediately as one. But that's where the error. Say like you're in the week of unleavened bread. The following, the next Shabbat comes. Don't start counting one, because we deal with segments. We have to use that first one. You have to start at like 0. Okay? Because if you don't start at 0, if you're going to count that the first Shabbat as 1, then you're going to end up with 42 days instead of 49 days. That's why it's good whenever you start, you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you count all the way to 49. So if you know, basically you can go back and know where the error was made. Okay, but just what they call it, FYI, whatever. You don't count the first one as 1. You count it as 0.
And then number them after that.
Then number it after that. It's just like any number system. Right. You don't start at 1. You start, the number line start at 0, because we're dealing with segment. So between 0 and 1 is 1 segment.
Correct.
2 to 1, and between 2 and 1, or 1 and 2, is 2 segments. So we don't want to fall into that error. And if there's any question, remember, just type in your question in that comment box. Whatever deacon will order, But we're going to do a more in-depth on it. Go ahead, my deacon. Pick it up at verse 19.
All right. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 19. Then you shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offering. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before Yahweh. With the 2 lambs, they shall be holy to Yahweh for the priest. And you shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be a holy convocation unto you. You shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations.
Yeah, so we see that, as what I said before, that Pentecost, the day of Pentecost, is going to be a Shabbat.
That's right.
Also, movable, and it can fall any day of that week.
See, so this is where you get your movable Sabbath.
Yeah, this is where you get your movable Shabbat. That's correct, my deacon.
Praise God. Verse 23, verse 22. And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not make clean riddance of the corners of your field when you reap it, neither shall you gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am Yahweh.
Hey, what the Mashiach said. He said the poor will live with us at all times.
At all times. See the mercy of, now Yahweh gives a man dignity. He says, let the man go and pick it for himself, so he can feel like he's earning as well now. Don't deprive him of that. You have, just don't touch the corners. Leave it for the poor. At least you make them feel as if, make a man feel like he's just, I don't want to beg a man for something. I want to earn it, So he's, but look at Yahweh's mercy, because that does something to a man now. The way that they deprived us throughout slavery, it did something to us psychologically as well. But praise God.
Yeah, praise Yahweh. Yeah, I can't remember when I was a youth growing up. I think I was a cadet or a scout, whatever they call it. I can't remember for sure. And we went camping. And I remember some of the buddies that went to, to the, what type of crop they went to the orange crop. Because when you're out there, in not to say in the woodlands, there's no place to shop, like supermarket or anything like that. You have to eat off the land. And so the guys that went to the orange farm, and they stole a couple of orange. Oh man, they got the owners them so mad. But afterward, they calmed down. We explained to them that we can't put here. We need something to eat. But you know what, man? Not knowing Yahweh then, but the good Lord, is what we said, put a good spirit in the owner's, heart. He said, man, okay, I tell you what. I'll leave my gate open. You can go there anytime as long as you guys are still doing the camping and enjoy. It's always, when I read this, always remember. Yeah. So we go back to, after that, we're never hungry. We have so many different fruit, bananas, you name it, sweet sop, sour sop, and fruits. Yeah, man, the guy maybe have about 50 acres. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But, even though we didn't really know the law, on a plaque or whatever, but Yahweh has imputed those laws into our people, into their heart.
That's right. They always say that about black people.
Yeah.
These soul children.
Yeah.
We were always a godly people.
Always a forgiveness in our heart.
Forgiveness in our heart. We just lost our way. It's a curse is upon us, that's all.
Yeah.
But, and you got bad apples in every bunch.
That's correct.
So it just, that doesn't negate from the whole. It says if the root is holy, the lump is holy. Yeah. That's what Yahweh said. So we can't cast off our people.
No.
How dare we?
No. Yeah. We all pass through that stage in life. Yeah.
We're at Leviticus chapter 23, verse 23. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall you have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh.
Okay. Okay, so let's get back to this. And this should be like an easy one, to understand more than the rest. So, we talk about the 7th month, okay? So we know that at the ending of the 6th month. Okay, remember we cannot use the Gregorian calendar. Okay, we have to depend on when the moon, the day of the moon, appear in that particular month.
Okay.
Then yeah. So to get the first day of that the 6th month, and then afterward 29 and a half at the end of that. But you will know when the next new moon comes around. Yeah. Suppose the next new moon comes around, like say the 16th after 6 months.
Okay.
So we know the 7th month will actually start the 16th at even. So on the 17th, will be the blowing of trumpets. Yeah, of the 7th month. The blowing of trumpet. And that day also is a Shabbat. We have to keep it holy. So that's the reason why we have those movable Shabbats. So don't get confused. It can fall any day of the week.
First day of the month.
Yeah, any day of the week. So we're just going to keep the 17 here as reference, okay? Yeah, the start, that's the start of the 7th month.
All right. We're at Leviticus chapter 23, verse 26. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, also on the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you. And you shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. And you shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before Yahweh your Elohim. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. You shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
All your dwellings.
Yes, sir. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and you shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. From even unto even shall you celebrate your Sabbath.
Thank you, my deacon. I'll pause here for a second. We notice then the 10th day of this month, or the Day of Atonement, begins on the 9th day.
That's right.
Remember, we specified here that right at the 16th of this month start the 17th. Day after 17. So we know if we count the 17 and go all the way to the 9th, read back that verse for me.
Okay.
That verse is verse 32.
Verse 32. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and you shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. From even unto even shall you celebrate your Sabbath.
Thank you, my deacon. So if this is the 17th of the Gregorian month, we know that the day 17 starts on the 16th day of that month. Okay, of the 6th month. So to the 17th, you call that 1 day. So from here, 0 to the 17th, that's the segment which I was talking about. Okay? So that's one segment. So if you loop it all the way around, so you have the 18, the 19, the 20, the 21st, the 22nd. So 1, you loop this, so that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Go all the way up, I see 23. Forgive me for my writing. I'm not a good writer. And from the 23rd to the 24th, that would be 8. So from the 24th to the 25th would be 9. Can you see it in the camera? Can you pick it up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it would be the 9th. So at eve, right here, on the 24th of that month of the Gregorian calendar, then that's going to be the 9th day of the 7th month. Okay? So the 10th day would fall between the 25th and the 26th of that month.
That's right.
So we know, that segment. So we know the holiest day. Okay?
That's right.
We're just using those dates as a reference. Yeah, we're not saying those dates are that month.
Correct.
And or people, this is the 25th or whatever, of March or something. No, we're not saying that. But anyway, so you get a better understanding of how to calculate.
That's right.
You understand? I'm going to go in more details.
On a new moon class.
On a new moon class.
Right.
Yeah, I saw my brother, my elder brother, the kingpin, wasn't here. Yeah, he have a lot to say. Yeah, it is the holiest. Now, let's go to Hebrew. Yeah, go back to the book of Hebrew.
Okay.
Chapter 9. We have more time. We just can't do one chapter for today. Pick it up from verse 1.
Hebrews chapter 10.
Mm-hmm.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 1. For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offer year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect.
Mm-hmm.
For then would they not have ceased to be offered, because that the worshippers, once purged, should have had no more conscience of sins. But in those sacrifices there is remembrance again made of sins every year.
Mm-hmm.
For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins.
Of course. How can the blood of goats and bulls take away the sins? I mean, Yahweh gave us, a grace. They call it that. Grace for our people.
Correct.
So it can, we can redeem ourselves back to the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
But what have the goat and the sheep done to deserve that killing?
See, nothing.
They hold their grazing, minding their own business.
They didn't sin.
They didn't sin. What they have done? Nothing at all.
Mm.
We are the one. We are the one that the Most High Yahweh find fault in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go ahead, man.
Verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 5. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he saith, Sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin thou hadst had no pleasure. Then said I, Lo, I come. In the volume of the book it is written of me, to do thy will, O Elohim. Above when he said, Sacrifice and offering, and burnt offerings, and offering for sin, thou wouldest not, neither hadst pleasure therein, which are offered by the law. Then said he, Lo, I come to do thy will, O Elohim. He taketh away the first, that he may establish the second.
Verse 9. Then said he, Lo, I come to do thy will, O Yahweh. He taketh away the first, that he may establish the second.
That's right.
We know we have some seculars say, we don't have to keep the Old Testament anymore. Because now he gave us a New Testament. They're so far away from the truth. Yeah, without any understanding. That's the reason why, look, our people are in that gross darkness, even today.
That's right. And when and this is what happened with the Pharisees and the scribes, they confused the people.
Of course.
See, because they were hypocrites.
You use that term, divide and conquer. Go ahead, man.
See, so that's, you see how that was being used?
Mm-hmm.
You see, so we have Satan in the midst. Now we know Yahweh had these things, he allowed these things to happen. But you can see, he said, where strife and contention is. There Satan is in the midst. See, we know that Satan is in the midst.
Absolutely.
See? So even amongst that, it kept the people divided, like you said. But yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, well, look at that verse again. He take away the first. Ask yourself the question, Why would he take away the commandment? When the commandments, they are good. That's what helps us to stay on that correct path. Why would he destroy them? Why did you destroy them?
These are these writings now. That's what he said. Paul is very hard to be understood. And so Peter's the one that told him that Paul's writings are hard to be understood. So we're reading here now. These are Saul's writings.
That's correct.
See, and he's writing his letter to the Hebrews, telling them how they must observe these things in their time and in their season, in the fashion that Yahweh required. So this is pointing to the deeds of the law, or the works of the law.
Thank you.
Not the entire law.
So what are the deeds of the law, my deacon?
The animal sacrifice.
The animal sacrifice. So that is what that was taken away. So the Mashiach, we can also pray to him instead of the animal sacrifices. Because the animal sacrifice didn't do anything to us. We look at it as like a feast day. We just go to this congregation or go to this event, eat and be merry and go straight back home. And commit the same sin.
So we became like religion.
Of course.
You know, we just do it as tradition. Let's go to the sanctuary.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Messiah warned us. He said he come not to destroy the law or the prophets. Who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to your pastors? Or are you going to listen to the words?
Got to break them. That darkness, them curses. See, because that's the first thing our people will say. Well, my pastor said. What did Mashiach say? You know, well, I mean, it gets to the point where my elder said. It says ask your elders and they'll tell you.
Yeah.
But some folks will say, well, my elder said. Well, what did Yahshua say? See, now that goes over what the Mashiach said. See, we had that issue back in the book now. We read that. We read that in detail. And they said, well, Yahshua said, well, why are your traditions? They're causing you to just void Yahweh's law.
That's right.
Let's follow our traditions. You know, so now you put them above the Mashiach. Well, our Father's there too. See, so it's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, nothing new under the sun, my deacon. You're so correct with that, man.
Praise God.
Pick it up at verse 10.
Verse 10. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 10. By the which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Yahshua HaMashiach once for all. And every priest standeth daily ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifices which can never take away sins. But this man, after he offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of Elohim, from henceforth expecting till his enemies be made his footstool. For by one offering he has perfected forever them that are sanctified, whereof the Holy Ghost also is witness to us. For that he said before, for after that he said before, this is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my law into their hearts, and in their minds will I write them.
All right, that's it now. Praise Yah for that. Let's pick up a little bit more in the book of John. St. John, chapter 20, verse 11 through 18. See, all these laws is tied in, to the Mashiach. We just have to read with understanding.
John chapter 20, verse 11 through 20 of them?
11 through 18.
11 through 18.
Yeah.
We're in the Gospel of Yohanan, John chapter 20, verse 11. But Mary stood without at the sepulchre weeping. And as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre, and seeth two angels in white sitting, the one at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Yahshua had lain. And they say unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? She saith unto them, Because they have taken away my master, and I know not where they have laid him. And when she had said thus, she turned herself back, and saw Yahshua standing, and knew not that it was Yahshua. Yahshua saith unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou? She, supposing him to be the gardener, saith unto him, Sir, if thou hast borne him hence, or carried him hence, tell me where thou hast laid him, and I will take him away. Yahshua saith unto her, Mary. She turned herself and saith unto him, Rabboni, which is to say, Master,
Wow.
Yeshua saith unto her, Touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren, and say unto them, I ascend unto my Father and your Father, and to my Elohim and your Elohim. Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Adonai, and that he had spoken these things unto her.
Praise God. Praise God for that information. So we know the most holy of holy thing that is on earth that was in the tabernacle. Okay, now we know that, after shedding his blood, he has ascended up to his Father, our Father also, to anoint that holy throne that is in heaven, that cannot be corrupt by anything.
It wasn't made with the temples of the hands of
with the hands of man. Yeah.
Praise God.
Thank for that, man. Praise Yahweh for, his son.
Praise God.
Excellent job, man. Suffer, for all of us, the children of Israel. Yeah, he died for us.
Exactly. He's the only perfect one that walked.
Yeah.
The earth. Yes, sir.
It takes a human blood, to redeem a human back, from captivity, whether the captivity of sin or the captivity of mankind.
So did Yahweh accept a human sacrifice?
No.
See. Some will say that.
Yeah.
See.
Yahweh don't, but you know what? This law is not above Yahweh. So Yahweh can do anything that he wants to do. Because, I know that's, when you look back on the different sect or camps in the Hebrew circle, they do not accept the Messiah as their Savior. And this is why, because Yahweh, don't accept, but what it say, he do not accept, human sacrifice. But this is a special case. Because there wasn't anyone found in the earth without sin.
That's right.
How can you sacrifice for me when you're doing the same disobedient act just as myself?
That's right. So he had this special, just like we know that Jonah was there was a special beast prepared just for him.
That's correct.
Prepared just for him.
Just for him.
But the Mashiach, he was born of a virgin.
That's correct.
This never happened before. So he had this special preserve the seed of David.
That's correct.
So that he could fulfill that covenant of establishing a house for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And preserve the Mashiach all the way up to this time, so that we could be redeemed. But our fathers made themselves filthy, but that had to happen too.
Yeah.
See, just it's like we were discussing every generation served their purpose.
That's correct.
So when we came out of Egypt, our fathers were just supposed to bring forth the children who were going to enter into the land. And after they brought forth them children, he killed off all their parents. He had no more use for them. They just served their purpose.
That's right.
Right? For that generation. Right? And then the children came out under Joshua, and they were brought in. And they had to fulfill their purpose. And they stayed in the land just to bring forth the Mashiach. And then after that, he put them out the land, cast them out.
Of course.
Right?
There's no need for them anymore.
They served no more purpose. They were dishonoring the Sabbath, the fatherland, so he got rid of our fathers, and here we are this day. And fulfilling our purpose in our generation at this time.
Praise Yah.
And he's waking up this generation.
Praise Yah. You said the Mashiach, was special. Let's go to Revelation chapter 22. Read a couple of verses.
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah, man. But this man was special. Special to Yahweh. He was the arm of Yahweh.
Who has believed that report?
Come on. Pick up at 16.
16?
Yeah, chapter 22.
We
just want to show you how special this man was. And still.
Praise Yah. Revelations chapter 22. We're going to start at verse 16. I, Yeshua, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star.
Stop right there.
Praise Yah.
He was before David and after David.
See, some don't believe that, but we read it. So what?
So what?
It doesn't.
That make the word of Yahweh not effect. So he was before.
That's right. Right. And after he fulfilled that which was written of him, and he was risen up from the dead, then he was given the glory of all the things and the attributes that came before, Then this is how he became a God, high priest, king, all these things, all tied up in one.
Praise yeah, praise yeah, praise yeah, man. You know, only Yahweh can do those stuff, man.
That's right.
You know, thank Him for allowing, you know, Him to manifest in the time that was appointed for Him to be manifest into this world to save Israel out of this great, gross darkness.
That's right.
Beautiful class, man.
Praise
Let's segue back into the book of Leviticus, chapter 23. I think we can pick it up at 33.
Yes, sir. Verse 33. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days unto Yahweh.
And again, according to the system or the method the Spirit has put into us, we know, looking back at the 7th month, He said the 15th day. So if it's the 15th day we're going to start from the 14th day at even. And then we're going to celebrate that feast, the Feast of Tabernacle, for 7 days. Okay?
Yes, sir.
For 7 days. So the 15 days, if we look at our that 7th month, we know the 10th day falls between the 25th and the 26th of that month. We're just using that for reference sake, okay? We're just looking at the board. So if we should add 5 more days onto the 9, we get 14. So it started at 14. So actually, we know that there is like 30, actually, we don't know which month it falls in, but if it falls in September or October, we know that we add 5 days to that. So it would be either in September or October, we add 5 days to make the 14. So 5 days, so if we had 5 days, it would be the 31st, the 30th or the 31st, okay? At even of September, what it is. And from there, we start celebrating the Feast of Tabernacle for 7 days. And we do it for 7 days. We have a maritime. Okay. That's pretty much it. But we're going to go in further details, you know, we will put things together and, you know, question. We hopefully you will be watching us, and then we could, you know, answer your question live. Just type in your question and we'll answer it live.
Praise God.
Okay. Continue, my deacon.
Praise God. We're at Leviticus chapter 23, verse 35. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. 7 days shall you offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you. And you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. It is a solemn assembly, and you shall do no servile work therein.
That's correct. And it is not the 7 days. 7 days straight, it's all Shabbat. I'm not saying go to work, but it's not a Shabbat. Yeah, but you know, we have different, you can have different activity between the first and the 8th day. But the first day is an Shabbat. You're not allowed to go to work. But if you have to go, you know, pray to Yahweh, and Yahweh will forgive you. You know, because, you know, we're staying in a land that is not ours. You know, so just be patient until Yahweh, you know, send us back, you know, to our rightfully hometown or land. So we can really do the things to the fullness, so we can please our Elohim.
It's like we said, this is a shadow of things to come.
If these are shadow of things to come, you have to ask, where is the image? Because you cannot have shadow without an image, or without a body.
See, the Mashiach was that invisible image.
That's correct.
Yeah. How can an invisible image have a shadow?
Oh, come on, man.
See.
So you know what we're talking about. So whatever works you see you do, the Spirit driving to do those works.
It's like the disciples asked him, they said, show us the Father, and it suffices us. And the Mashiach said, have I not been with you so long and you haven't seen the Father? See?
You see, they're looking for a flesh and blood man.
They gotta show me him. He said, man, it's the works that I do. That shows you the Father.
Thank you, man. Praise yeah, man.
Praise.
Yeah, don't look, what I said. We are fleshly. And we are prone to sin at any time. So, we have to give all the glory to the Most High Yahweh. Yeah, it's the works. When you see our works, you see your Father, which is in heaven.
That's right.
Because no one can say at any time they have heard or they have seen the Father.
So he said, let your works
speak for itself.
Basically, glory, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
He said, let them see your good works.
That's
it. They glorify your Father, which is in heaven.
Praise yeah.
Praise yeah. Verse 37. These are the feasts of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh, a burnt offering, and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon his day. Beside the Sabbaths of Yahweh, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your freewill offerings, which you give unto Yahweh. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, you shall have gathered in, when you shall have gathered in the fruit of the land, you shall keep a feast unto Yahweh 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
Look back. See? We have a 7-day cycle.
That's right. See?
So is that there's no 8-day cycle.
There's no 8-day cycle.
So we have to have, some movable Shabbat.
Correct.
And those 7 days.
That's right.
So, I hope where people get even a little understanding. We're not saying you're going to understand everything at once, like the body here. But if there's a question, it takes a little time, growth. That's what we call growth.
Praise God. Praise God. Verse 40. And you shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim 7 days.
Oh, man. I know you have some brothers, man. They will camp outdoor.
Yeah.
It's up to an individual. Yeah. We're not living in the land now. But remember, we are under the Melchizedek priesthood.
Correct.
So everything, if you cannot do it, you do it spiritually.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, come on, man. Yahweh is an understanding Elohim. Yeah, you know what we all need before we even ask for it. Go ahead, my deacon.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you. It was about tabernacling with the Mashiach and with the Messiah, and that's what our people were failing to do. They were even in the land building up tents, but then they were building up, and secretly they would go into the woods, into their groves, and have their idols. We read that yesterday, and so they weren't tabernacling with Yahweh.
That's correct.
See, so they never got to experience the full, what the rewards of actually tabernacling with Yahweh. And these are a shadow of things to come. So we're still learning how to actually, because if we don't fully, it's all growth, like you said.
Yeah.
And the more he reveals, and that we grow in understanding, and we're able to fully receive the rewards that come with actually tabernacling with the Mashiach and with the Most High. Yeah, that's going to be an amazing experience.
Well, you know what? Paul also said the same thing. I mean, your body is a tabernacle of the Most High. That's where the Spirit dwells. The Spirit not going to dwell in a building. A building is dead. What can a building do? Come on, man. So, the Spirit dwells in our body. So in our walk, not only we continue to teach ourselves, but we teach others, our brothers and sisters out there. Because we have to get them out of this darkness that they're in.
That's right.
And we have to get them out. And for us to get them out, we have to walk as children of light.
That's right.
Not as children of darkness, but as light.
That's right. Children of the day, not of the night.
Not of the night. Go ahead, my dear.
Verse 41. Verse 41. And you shall keep it a feast unto Yahweh 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month. You shall dwell in booths 7 days. all that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths, when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your Elohim. And Moshe declared unto the children of Israel the feast of Yahweh.
So these are all the feasts of Yahweh that Yahweh commanded us. Remember, Yahweh didn't command us to keep Christmas, the New Year, and you name the rest of them. You know the rest of them. The rest of them have some, pagan deity associated with them.
Correct.
So these are the feasts. We have to learn how to calculate the days, as close, the best as possible, as the Spirit allows you to do it, and, to do them. And that's pretty much it. Now, leave the pagan months or the pagan days, holiday alone. Yeah.
We keep holy days.
We keep holy days, not holidays. You're right, my deacon. What time are we looking at?
We got about 15 minutes or
15. We can do 24.
24.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Leviticus chapter 24, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil, olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually. Outside or without the veil of the testimony, in the tabernacle of the congregation, shall Aaron order it from evening unto the morning, before Yahweh continually. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. He shall order the lamps upon the pure candlestick before Yahweh continually. And thou shalt take fine flour, and bake 12 cakes thereof. 2/10 deals shall be in one cake. And thou shalt set them in 2 rows, 6 on a row, upon the pure table before Yahweh. So this is dealing with the showbread.
That's correct.
We did this when we showed the tabernacle and all the garments and the vessels that were inside of the priest.
That's correct.
The temple, rather.
Yeah.
Verse 7. And thou shalt put pure frankincense upon each row, that it may be on the bread for a memorial, even an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. Every Sabbath he shall set in order. He shall set it in order before Yahweh continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant. And it shall be Aaron's and his sons, and they shall eat it in the holy place, for it is most holy unto him of the offerings of Yahweh made by fire, by a perpetual statute. So
we know these things are coming back, because the seed of Aaron is going to be in the temple also.
That's right. That's
right. And we can pick up back, in the book of Ezekiel.
That's right.
Okay, and you can read from Ezekiel chapter 40 all the way to chapter 48, but until the end. Yeah.
Well, we got an example of, did David eat from the showbread table?
Of course.
It just said that only the Levites were allowed to eat from the
Yahweh, and we know which tribe David is from.
Correct.
Yes.
Judah.
Yeah, you can pick it up, I think, in 1 Samuel, chapter 20, 22, when he feeds to the priest. You want to touch on a little bit of it?
1 Samuel?
Yeah.
1 Samuel?
Yeah.
Which chapter we're at again?
Chapter 21.
21. Okay. Let's pick it up here.
And this is when David is fleeing from the first king, King Saul.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 21, verse 1. Then came David to Nob, to Ahimelech, the priest. And Ahimelech was afraid at the meeting of David, and said unto him, Why art thou alone, and no man with thee? And David said unto Ahimelech the priest, The king has commanded me a business, and has said unto me, Let no man know anything of the business, whereabout I send thee, and what I have commanded thee. And I have appointed my servants to such and such a place. Now therefore, what is under thine hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread in thine hand, or what there is present. And the priest answered David and said, There is no common bread under mine hand, but there is hallowed bread, if the young men have kept themselves at least from women.
Yeah. Looking at hallowed, They are set apart
That's
for
right.
the Mashiach use only. I mean, for Yahweh use only.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, and no ordinary. These are set aside for Yahweh's servant that is taking care of his tabernacle.
Correct. Correct. And so we read about the cleanliness laws.
That's right.
So he said, provided the men have not been with women.
That's correct.
So he said, okay, are they clean? Or are they unclean at this time?
Yeah.
You know, they've been kept from women. He said, then yeah, they can eat of the bread.
That's right. That's right. Right,
Praise
but he can. Praise him.
He says, verse 5, and David answered the priest and said unto him, of a truth women have been kept from us about these 3 days, since I came out. And the vessels of the young men are holy, and the bread is in a manner common, yea, though it were sanctified this day in the vessel. So the priest gave him hallowed bread, for there was no bread there, but the showbread, and that was taken before Yahweh. That was taken rather from before Yahweh, to put hot bread in the day when it was taken away.
Yeah. So now we realize that when it doesn't matter what it is, but when it reach into the hands of the priest,
That's right.
it becomes holy.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we know the rest of the story.
We know the rest of the story.
You know, David ended up, sadly, there was an Edomite that was in the temple, and he saw David, and he saw what happened between the exchange.
Yeah.
Between him and Ahimelech, and Saul ended up causing that ended up causing his life to be taken, and all his sons. They were all slaved by Saul.
Yeah.
Well, not by Saul, by the Edomite that spotted him out. Doeg. Yeah.
Yeah, and even that story, you can use that story also when you talk about the move of a Shabbat too. You know, because when you look with the new moon, it's David's supposed to celebrate the new moon with Saul,
Correct.
but he was missing.
Correct.
You know, missing. That was like the king was getting mad. Where's David?
Right.
You know, my best warrior, my right arm. Where is he? So he reached the priest on the third day.
Correct.
So we know the first day after new moon, he reached the priest Ahimelech on the third day. So we know, and you know, if you when you get back into the law book and you can get back into number to see when the priests have to replace the bread and the showbread.
Correct.
You understand? It's every the 7-day cycle.
That's right.
So you replace it on the third day. So we know the third day after the first of the month is the 7th day.
That's right.
So those brothers are not saying anything. They're missing the point.
That's right. It's fixed.
It is fixed. The week, yeah.
Right.
So the rest, like the new moon and the feast days, they can fall on any of the days of the week.
That's right. Like today is a new moon and a Sabbath.
And it falls in one.
That's right.
Yeah. So now we see. Yeah. So I mean, look, man. All answers are in this book.
That's right.
You just have to search for it. Read the book from cover to cover. Yeah, and you know that will also help you to get out of this. I always have to say this gross darkness.
That's right.
Because our people are the one who suffer the most.
That's right.
We are the one need to redeem out of this captivity of sin. No one else.
See,
we are the bottom.
He said, "No man shall buy you." Or in Deuteronomy 28, verse, it said, "No man shall redeem you or restore you back to your former state."
That's right.
And who speaks for us as a people? You know,
nobody. But according to the law, again, it's only a family members can redeem you if you're in captivity.
That's right. So
go ahead.
Is our big brother.
Thank you.
He got to be our kinsman.
Yeah.
Their kinsman, like you say, can redeem you.
Yep.
And we read that in the law so that our people would understand why and how they cannot escape this. This is the Mashiach. He is our kinsman.
That's right.
You know, and we are under his blood.
Praise yeah.
Praise God.
But we have to do the things that require us to be under his blood.
That's right. Walk uprightly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We're at Leviticus chapter 24, verse 10. And the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of Yahweh and cursed. And they brought him unto Moshe, and his mother's name was Shalom, the daughter of Debri, of the tribe of Dan. And they put him in ward, that the mind of Yahweh might be showed them. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Bring forth him that cursed outside the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him.
So you know, blasphemy against the Holy One is death.
Death. Yeah. There's no saving for that. See, unless Yahweh give him. Yeah. Verse 14. 15. Verse 15. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, Whosoever curseth his Elohim shall bear his sin. And he that blasphemeth the name of Yahweh, he shall surely be put to death. And all the congregation shall certainly stone him, as well the stranger, as he that is born in the land. When he blasphemeth the name of Yahweh, shall be put to death. And he that killeth any man shall surely be put to death.
The penalty?
Yes, sir. And he that killeth a beast shall make it good, beast for beast. And if a man cause a blemish in his neighbor, as he has done, so shall it be done to him.
Eye for an eye.
That's right.
Tooth for a tooth.
Breach for breach, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As he has caused a blemish in a man, so shall it be done to him again. This is crime prevention.
Yep.
And he that killeth a beast, he shall restore it. And he that killeth a man, he shall be put to death. You shall have one manner of law as well for the stranger, and as for let me read that.
Read it, yeah.
Verse 22. You shall have one manner of law as well for the stranger as for one of your own country. For I am Yahweh your Elohim. So we know in America there's two laws. You know, you see, it's a bunch of hypocrisy. We know how, but these things have to be.
Yeah.
You know, but nonetheless, it's so evident, it's blatant. You know, it's disgusting when you see the two laws that we see here. But Yahweh is not so. His ways are fair. He said, I got just weights and just balances.
That's correct.
It's one law for all.
One law for all.
Praise him. He says, you shall have one manner of law as well for the stranger as for one of your own country. For I am Yahweh your Elohim. And Moshe spake to the children of Israel that they should bring forth him that had cursed out of the camp, and stone him with stones. And the children of Israel did as Yahweh commanded Moshe.
Praise Yah. Praise Yah. We're going to stop right here. And I know chapter 25 deal with the Jubilee, you know, and my kingpin, Elder Kingpin, Yah's will, he will be back next week. Yeah, I remember he done an excellent class about the Jubilee. Yeah, we don't know when is the Jubilee start because our father didn't keep the Feast of Jubilee.
If they kept it, they would have known the exact date that the Mashiach would return.
That's correct. That is correct. That is correct. But I hope he has some insight.
Yeah,
yeah, over Elder, oh man, he has something up his sleeve.
Yes, sir. We're praying for you, though. God's will, we'll see you. God's will next week to return with us.
Yeah. So at this time we come to the end of the Sabbath Shabbat / service, discussion, and I kind of open the floor up to you, my deacon.
And we covered everything still in the beginning. That's the Holy Spirit that gave about the curse and looking at the methods that are being used. It's still prevalent today. I was reading an article or a book called How Slaveholders in the Caribbean Maintain Control, and it was the same tricks basically that was being spoken of that we read with Willie Lynch. This was
that's a powerful tool, man.
This is the same thing that was being used. This is why he came from the Caribbean. It spoke about the different various forms of torture and what have you that was inflicted upon our people in order to keep them in line, and so it's nothing new under the sun. And we see that everything that's happening today, it was was already written to happen, and it was already prophesied to take place. So yeah, we don't. And we're not the oppressor and choosing them his ways. We don't want to inflict these same methods are being used among our own people, amongst one another. This is how this is what they call it, a crab in the barrel mentality. Yeah, that's where that comes from. We distrust one another, and so we don't look out for each other. If I'm climbing out, let me help you up. No, we push it back down.
You pull it right back down.
So we got to get away from that. And it's through the laws of Yah that we'll be able. This is our culture.
Praise Yah, man.
So we have to get back to that. And Mashiach is the only example, because it's not the letter of the law. We need to understand the letter. That's the schoolmaster, but it's the spirit of the law. Mashiach walked in the spirit of the law. So this is what our people have to get to.
Praise Yah. Thank you for that commentary, man. Praise Yah for that, man. Praise Yah, man.
Yes, sir.
At this time, we thank you again for joining us on the Shabbat/New Moon, because it's still the new moon. And I know you want to continue your feast celebration, but do it responsible, And with that, we end, Shabbat Shalom. And I hope you and everyone else out there been edified with the teaching we offer today. Praise Yah.